Hello, we are back with our Batman the Animated Series episodes commentary, and today we have a very interesting episode called Birds of a Feather. And if we are talking about birds, we're probably talking about the penguin. So let's check this episode together. If you are watching with your DVD box set or Blu-ray box set or streaming service with Batman the Animated Series, let's hit play together in my countdown, okay? So in 3, 2, 1, let's go. The Warner Bros. Logo is on the screen. And we have a penguin episode that last week when I commented almost got him, the previous episode. I forgot about this one. I forgot about this particular penguin episode because sometimes I forget that the show had some penguin episodes like this one in particular. And after this one, I think we're going to have one more in this season. But this is a very interesting episode. I think it's the best episode with the penguin in the show. At least it has the most interesting story with him. And I like the name, the title, right? Birds of a Feather, because I had to search the meaning of this expression, and it means when a group of people or two people have similar tastes or they belong to the same kind of group. And I believe here we have the stories about Penguin being released from Arkham after many years in prison and trying to reform or go back to society. So he, as being this aristocratic villain, this is Mug, he goes back to join the high society, or at least the society, the level of society he thinks he belongs to, right? Which is the high level of people and the rich people. And it's a very interesting episode, and it comes in a very interesting time because soon enough we're gonna have also the release of the Penguin TV show right next week with Colin Farrell, and I promise we're gonna have a review of the show right after I watch the episodes this week. So stay tuned for the video. But anyway, the episode starts with a action scene. Penguin is stealing this rich house, getting some paintings and some artifacts, and Batman shows up to ruin his deed. So he gets caught by the Batman in the end of the scene and taken to prison. So then we see him in his cell, and some years later, finally he's released from his sentence. And this is a very funny episode because usually in the cartoons, the Penguin is always portrayed as this funny character, and I think this is one of the funniest episodes. It's almost a comedy story with the Penguin, and it's very funny because he believes he's being released from Arkham, and he believes that there will be people to receive him, the creme of society, as he says, is waiting for him. And once he reaches outside the prison, there's nobody there. So he has to take a bus, which is something that for him is despicable. And it's a very funny bus because we have these very strange people inside the bus. We have a goth girl. We have this guy with a knife. It's really cool. I love to see these snippets of people or snippets of the society of Gotham City, you know, especially the low level like this one. And then we go to the mention of one of the richest gals in Gotham City, which is Veronica Vreeland. She's a very recurrent character in the show. She's always among the high society people of Gotham, and with Bruce in some episodes as well. She she loves the fame and the popularity of being this rich girl. And once she sees the news that the Penguin has returned to society, um, she decides to take advantage of this popularity to call attention, right? So she's gonna plan something to have the Penguin around her. And it's very funny. The Penguin, he returns to his apartment and finds nobody there, only Batman ready to receive him. And he starts to call the people, "Hey, Joker, my friend, Croc, where are you guys? Where are you hidden?" Suspecting that there is a surprise party, but there's not. And Batman is here to warn him that he will be watching, obviously. And we have a very funny scene where the Penguin offers him a cappuccino for him to drink, since he's there, for them to drink together, but he actually offers him a rat poison. I love it. Very funny episode. And then one thing that is interesting about the Penguin in the Portuguese version, since I am Brazilian, the Portuguese dubbing of the character, he has a very funny voice. I love the Portuguese version of Penguin's voice, because he talks with this, you know, and his voice is very aristocratic in a sense, like, yeah, I'm the Penguin, blah, 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 you know. He has this very funny voice. And in English, I like the voice, but it's not that good. You know, I don't know. Maybe if you Google the Portuguese dubbing of the Penguin in Brazilian Portuguese, check it out. It's very funny. So we have a dinner scene. I mean, Veronica Vreeland invited the Penguin for a dinner, and both of them talk, and the Penguin is very happy to be invited by a sweet, beautiful girl like her, but he eats raw fish with no manners at all. And then some people arrive at the restaurant with their tables reserved, but once they see the Penguin, they'll leave the place right away, because, you know, he has a bad fame. And yes, she's taking advantage of him to get attention for her, and she pretends to flirt with him, and so the Penguin starts to fall for her. And this is it's very funny, because poor Oswald, right? He really was. He's the kind of villain that you can't be angry with. You know, it never seems to me that the Penguin is that bad of a villain. He's just he just thinks of himself much higher than what he is. So anyway, so something interesting about this episode. This is just a tangent, but we have some shots, at least in my DVD version, they are kind of blurry, the image, which is very strange. But anyway, maybe in your versions, in your DVDs or Blu-rays or streaming service, maybe they corrected this, I don't know, but some shots are kind of blurry. I wonder why. What happened in the process of animation for this to happen. But anyway, so the Penguin takes Veronica for a walk, and they are approached by some thugs, and the Penguin fights them with his umbrella. And I love it. So funny. I mean, such a great scene. And he actually beats those guys up. And then Batman arrives and he actually tosses his rope on the Penguin instead of the criminals. And again, this is a very funny scene because he thinks that the Penguin is behind all this. And then Veronica will explain to him that he's called the wrong guy, right? Because the Penguin was actually defending her. So Batman gets very embarrassed by his own actions. So yeah, that's a cute scene. And cool fight scene, by the way, when Batman arrives and fights these thugs. So, but here's the deal, right? Because Batman, this shows that no matter what, Batman knows who the Penguin really is, and he knows that he's up to no good, regardless of his release or anything. Anyway, it's very funny with the animation they do in Batman's eyes when he gets embarrassed, right? They kind of flip and become upside down, the two white eyes in the mask. So funny. Anyway, yeah, I mean, the Penguin's a very interesting character. I'm very excited for the Colin Farrell show because it will be this very unique and new approach to the Penguin, which I think in live action we lack interactions of the Penguin, and we only had the Danny DeVito one. I mean, sorry, the Burgess Meredith one in the '66 show, of course, but we only had then this one and Danny DeVito one, and then we have now Colin, and it's the first time we're gonna see him as this criminal mob boss that I think is one of the most interesting aspects of the character. And I think for this Penguin to work, or at least what I would like to see in this Penguin to work for me, that's what I meant, is that I wish I could see him having the mob boss persona, but also being the ruler of the what is the name? Iceberg Lounge, right? So there's two elements that we need to see: the crime boss and the owner of the Iceberg Lounge, for him to be the Penguin. So anyway, this is a talk for later. So the Penguin takes Veronica to the opera and he starts to sing with the Pagliacci opera play, right? And like I said, in Portuguese, I don't know about the English version, but the Portuguese is so funny. He's singing with the clown, the actor that is singing the opera, going, wah, 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 wah. I mean, it kills me in Portuguese. It just kills me. And yes, he is living the good life, and he is really in love with Veronica. Why not, right? This cute redhead girl with this despicable guy. Why wouldn't he fall in love, right? So this is an interesting aspect of this character here. At least, I think this is the episode that really goes a little more in deep in the Penguin's persona and who he is as a character. And yes, I think this is the only episode that does this, and the rest, we only see the Penguin as this, I don't know, this shallow villain that sometimes bands with other characters to get the Batman. But I really like the way they address him here a little more. Very different from the Danny DeVito's version, but a little too similar with the Burgess Meredith one. I can see this one being the '66 Batman's Penguin, right? Or at least a similar version to it. So we might we might suppose that this penguin here is really a mix between the Danny DeVito's one, at least in terms of visual, of course, with the Burgess Meredith one, right? I think that was the intention of the writers and producers when creating the show. So yes, Veronica was in the party with the penguin, and she starts to have second thoughts about the whole idea of using the penguin's image to get fame for herself. And she was in cahoots with this other guy that is a smug character called Pierce, and they were talking in a room about their plans, and the penguin caught them. So he got really angry and tossed some gas in both, and then he kidnapped Veronica, taking her with his umbrella, flying umbrella, by the way, away from the party. And it's a very cool scene, very, very much in tune with what the penguin is. And then we have this scene that I like in the Commissioner Gordon's office, where this Pierce guy is, demanding things from Gordon, and Gordon just puts him in his place. I love this scene because he really gets angry with the guy and shows that Gordon is a badass. So then Penguin sends a note to the police and demands a bag full of money to return Veronica. So we have the scene where Pierce, he demands also that Pierce is the one who delivers the money in a very dangerous and empty street of Gotham. And the guy he's a smug, and he's also a wimp. So he's very nervous and anxious about the whole thing. Meanwhile, Gordon is on a Zeppelin watching the whole action, along with some cops around the block, which is very cool, by the way. I love the way the police is always on the prowl here to see what's going to happen, and Batman, of course. So Pierce enters this phone booth, and he answers a call of the Penguin, and obviously this is a trap, right? And this is really cool. Again, some shots are very blurry in this episode. I don't know why, and I never really paid attention to that before. Like now, there's a scene where Pierce is going out of the phone booth, and the whole thing is blurry. Why? Anyway, then we have the scene is very alike the scene of Batman Returns, where Max Schreck falls into a hole and falls into the hideout of the Penguin, and it happens the same here. And I love this because we have Pierce falling from the manhole, and he falls into the hideout of the Penguin, and it's exactly like his hideout on Batman Returns, that huge lair that is this there is this huge lake, or should I say, I don't know, artificial lake with green water in the middle of the thing, and there is the duck boat, right? The yellow duck boat, which is exactly like the one in the movie. So I love that there are these elements of Batman Returns in this Penguin, and I know that this was forced on Paul Dini and Bruce Timm by the producers of Batman Returns at the time, because this show was released very close to Batman Returns, so they wanted the characters to have many elements of the movie. And but I like that. I really love that. I think it gives much more identity and character to the Penguin. And then when we get to the new animated series with all those redesigns of the characters, they get boring, especially the Penguin. I mean, the Penguin only loses for the Riddler in terms of getting boring, which I don't even think there is an episode with the Riddler in the second or in the new adventures. But anyway, the Penguin becomes this just this guy who is the owner of the Iceberg Lounge, and that's it. And I'm not very fond of that. But anyway, we get to the final act, like the Penguin just said, and he takes Veronica and Pierce and trap them in this huge opera arena. And we're going to have this fight that I love in this final act, one of the best in the show, where Batman, he fights the Penguin in cables on top of the theater. And the Penguin mounts a dragon in ropes, this fake dragon, of course, this huge puppet. And he flies towards the Batman. And believe it or not, the dragon spits fire for some reason, which is amazing. Why would an opera house have a prop, basically, a huge prop of a dragon who or that spits fire? That's very bizarre. But anyway, and they have this fight when they fly around the theater, fighting each other. Is very cool. The Penguin is controlling the dragon. This is the Penguin that I love. I gotta say, this is the Penguin that I love. But obviously, the Batman wins because he's able to knock Penguin out of the dragon. And there is this very funny scene where Batman is kind of an asshole here because he leaves the Penguin dangling on top of this huge curtain and just leaves him there like he wouldn't fall. But then the Penguin falls and his bald head just rips the whole curtain for some reason. So he falls and the whole structure of the curtain falls over him and traps him. But anyway. And then we have the sad scene where the police comes to get the Penguin. And he has this final dialogue with Veronica. She says she really liked him, but anyway, he understands that this whole high society stuff is just bullshit. And then we have this cool shot with Batman leaving. He's on a balcony of the opera house, and he leaves the place by exiting the door behind him going into blackness. And this is it. This is the episode, Birds of a Feather. If you are liking the content of BATGUS, as usual, as I always say, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can keep talking about Batman, DC Universe, Batman the Animated Series, Batman movies, Batman everything, alright? And this is it for now. See you in the next Bat video, and bye-bye.